Here I'm going to talk more in depth about what we call suborning perjury and the lawyer's duties related to perjury under Model Rule 3.3. The rules here can be a little confusing. It's going to depend on whether it's the client or the other witnesses and what kind of case. The bottom line is that if a lawyer knows for certain that a witness will lie, the lawyer cannot let them testify or participate in eliciting testimony. Assume for MPRE purposes that you have to refuse in this case. Now, it's a different situation if the lawyer merely believes but does not know for certain that a client will lie. In a criminal case, the lawyer must allow the defendant to testify, the criminal defendant, but wouldn't need to allow other supporting witnesses. In fact, you can't call them if you know that they plan to lie. In a civil case, in contrast, a lawyer may refuse to facilitate this, may refuse to have the person testify, but you don't have to unless you know that they're going to lie. Comment 6 says that there is a duty for a lawyer to try to dissuade the client first. So if a lawyer knows that a client intends to testify falsely, or that they want the lawyer to introduce false evidence, your first recourse should be to seek to persuade the client that the evidence should not be offered. If you get a question about that, usually the right answer is first try to talk sense into your client. Comment 6 is about when a lawyer must refuse to present false evidence. And I'm going to try to break it down into component parts because this can be a little confusing. First, let's say it's partially untrue testimony. So Rule 3.3 prohibits lawyers suborning perjury, even for the defendant in a criminal case. In some jurisdictions, courts have required counsel to present the accused as a witness, and basically you sit down and they give a narrative statement. If counsel knows, the testimony or statement will be false, and local rules will control here. So just to explain, let's say that your client, it's their turn to testify, and you are aware that you know for sure that your client is going to lie on the stand. The majority of jurisdictions, the traditional rule is you would ask the judge if you could approach the bench or have a sidebar. You're going to go up, and the other lawyer will come up too, and you're going to whisper to the judge that you can't conduct the examination of this client, the direct examination, because of the ethical rules. Hopefully they'll know what you mean, but they may force you to say you don't want to suborn perjury. In that case, the judge would tell the lawyer to have a seat, and they would swear in the defendant, and the judge will say something like to the jury, we're going to do things a little differently here. We're going to let the defendant just tell their story in sort of a story form. And then the defendant will get to tell their story and lie, and you are going to be sitting at your defense table staring at the floor, regretting the day you were born because this is bad for you. And keep in mind that when that's done, even though you didn't participate, the prosecution will then get a chance to cross-examine the client, and if they're effective at it, they may really do damage to the client's credibility. So now let's move on and talk about comment 8 and actual knowledge that the person is lying. Keep in mind that the prohibition under Rule 3.3 applies only if the lawyer knows that the evidence is false. So even if you have a reasonable belief that the evidence is false, it doesn't preclude its presentation to the trier of fact. But we may infer knowledge. So it says, nevertheless, we could infer from the circumstances that the lawyer had actual knowledge. In other words, we may not believe you that you didn't know. The ABA says, thus, a lawyer should resolve doubts about the veracity of testimony or evidence in favor of the client, but cannot ignore an obvious falsehood. Now, you can say no. Remember that this rule permits the lawyer to refuse to offer testimony, at least in civil cases, or other proof that the lawyer reasonably believes is false, meaning the lawyer would not be subject to discipline for doing so. It's different, though, in criminal cases versus civil cases. For criminal defendants, a lawyer may not refuse to offer testimony of the client, that is, the defendant, if the lawyer merely believes but does not know for certain that the testimony will be false. Why? The client in a defendant has a constitutional right to testify, basically. So unless the lawyer knows the testimony will be false, a lawyer must allow the client to testify if the client so chooses in that type of case. Let's talk about discovery after the fact. Lawyers may discover only afterward that evidence previously offered was false, or they may be surprised when they put a witness on the stand who they thought was going to tell the truth and the witness starts lying. And this can happen in depositions as well. There is an affirmative duty, usually, to do something to correct it if the proceedings are still going. So remedial measures could include, it says, remonstrate with the client confidentially. In other words, try to talk sense into them. Advise the client of the lawyer's duty of candor to the tribunal and seek the client's cooperation with respect to withdrawal or correction of the false statements of evidence. But if the client refuses, the advocate may have to take further remedial action. You may have to withdraw from the representation, withdraw from the case, if the court will permit you to do so, and withdrawing might undo the effect of the false evidence. Or, as a last resort, disclose it to the tribunal. Whatever is reasonably necessary to remedy the situation, even if doing so requires the lawyer to reveal information that would otherwise be protected by Rule 1.6, which is our duty of confidentiality. When you make a disclosure like this, it's then up to the court to decide what should be done. They may just give the jury an instruction to disregard certain evidence. They may order a mistrial. The judge may decide not to do anything. It's out of your hands. It's up to the judge. Comment 15 to this rule is about withdrawal and disclosures. If a lawyer has to withdraw from a case due to a client's misconduct, the lawyer should reveal only the minimum information necessary to comply with the rule or is otherwise permitted by Rule 1.6. So, in other words, the duty of confidentiality still applies to other representation. The fact that you have to withdraw from a case and explain why doesn't give you an open door to gossip about your client or reveal everything you know about your client. And this concludes our brief discussion of perjury.